Everybody's got Preacher Girl all wrong. They're really not getting the right message. So I'm going to tell you what the message of Preacher Girl is. This is the truth.
Shout out to the Preacher Girl. Shout out to the Preacher Girl.
I feel like if people get the wrong impression when they hear the word Preacher Girl. It's the name of our community. And I think they mistake Preacher Girl with Pastor Girl. And I feel like if maybe, perhaps, the women in this community don't understand, or a lot of people who could possibly be part of it don't understand. And I'm not trying to make a tribe of pastors, because you don't have to be a pastor to be a preacher. Because a preacher and a pastor are two different things. I happen to be both, but in order to be a pastor, you must have a pulpit or a congregation, but every single person is a preacher, and that's the point. You don't need a pulpit to be a preacher. You just need a message to be a preacher. And this is why Preacher Girl was formed, because every woman of God has a message, right? We have a message. And growing up, knowing that I was called to pastor, I felt like if perhaps that message would never get out, because you don't get the opportunity. And back in my, when I was just coming into this 20 years ago, nobody was ready to push a female preacher, a female pastor. So I didn't have that opportunity to get my message out. So my goal for Preacher Girl is to ensure that every girl with a message gets a platform. Now, this is the deal. It's not necessarily a church platform. Your platform could be like Fee and Kai's platform. What is her message? Her message is that every woman is a beautiful person, and this is like Ariel's business. What is her message? That you're never too young to start your business. Sometimes entrepreneurship is your platform, or the arts is your platform. Some preacher girls sing their message. Some of them dance their message. Some of them paint their message. You understand? And that's why I feel like if we got the wrong message, so that pastor girls may have thought that we, the pastors, are the heroes of the Preacher Girl movement, but that's not so. Some of the loudest preachers are the ones who will never preach a sermon, because every day you live is a different sermon. Regardless if you know it or not, you're preaching something. Sometimes you're preaching things that you don't want people to hear, and that's why we exist. To make sure the message that you're preaching every single day with your life is the one God put you here to preach. Look, even like PG Fit. When people say things like, well, I don't know why you gotta do nutrition and diets, because your body preaches a message. It is the temple of the Holy Spirit. The fact that we want our bodies to be healthy, we want to feel good about the temple that we're living in, it's a message to the world that this matters to me. This matters to God. He says it's His temple. I'm going to take care of it. So even in makeup, even when the church has such a dichotomy and a division about whether makeup should be something preachers or Christian girls wear or not, you know what? If a Christian girl goes out there with confidence and feeling great about herself, and when somebody comes up to her, she's not worried about what she's hiding, showing all of that, but she can speak the truth, then to me, that makeup's worth it, if that makes sense. I've got a message. I've got a message that being a Christian woman is the best life in the world. When I say PG life is the best life, that's what I mean. I don't mean pastoring is the best thing, because trust me, it ain't. Sometimes it's the most difficult thing, but preaching is the best thing. Even if you never say a word, you're still preaching. And that's why Preacher Girl exists. To find those girls, the teens and the tweens and the 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings, 50-somethings. Girls, we have a message. Whether we know what it is or not, we're preaching it. Preacher Girl is here to help you find it and preach it right. Things that are important to a Preacher Girl, right? Are one, confidence, authenticity. We talk about authenticity till the cows come home. Don't copy, be yourself. Everybody said what you're saying, but they've never said it like you. That is my mantra. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people have said it. Nobody says it like you say it. And the day you can get that in your spirit, you will come out and do things. The second thing is that we take care of the world. That is so important to a preacher. It is our message that this earth is created for us to have dominion over. That's why sustainability, that's why taking care of the environment, that's why fighting human trafficking and the ills of the world is important to a preacher girl. Preacher girls are not all about me. They're all about who we can bless, who we can help, how we can share, who we can give to, how we can make a difference. It really is at the heart of the message. And I don't know if somehow that has got lost in translation to where we start thinking it's all about how I look, how I think, how I dress, it's not that. It's how what I have can impact this world and change other people, if that makes sense. And that's why if I do an unboxing of something, right, I'm not gonna show it because it shows off what I've got. I'm gonna show it because it shows you that a hand-me-down is just as great, and you could enjoy that, and you could help protect the environment. Not only that, a cup of coffee, if you drink coffee that helps feed a child in a third world country, it's better coffee. If you wear a dress that somebody wore before, it's a better dress. It's just the heart of a preacher girl to not waste anything, if that makes sense. That's also an important value of the preacher girl community. And I want that to be so. You know what else? Supporting women. Because we live in a society where women drag women down, right? Unless they look like you, act like you, talk like you, unless they're just like you don't want to support them. So it's one demographic supporting one demographic. And preacher girl is not that. All you've got to do to be a preacher girl is be female, authentically female. That's important to me. You be female, you be a girl, you know, so we have some young men who do sneak into Bible study or do follow, and you're like, well, they're not girls. That's not the point. You know, why do we allow, some people wanted to know, well, how come you allow, and I won't call names, you know, some of the people who come into our Bible study, because things like our Bible study are general, right? When we talk about women's issues, it's for women. But preacher girls don't only preach to girls. We're girls who preach with our lives, but we preach to men, to women, to boys, to girls, and to everybody in between, if that makes sense. So those are the heart of what I value, and I feel like what preacher girls should value. That was the whole truth and nothing but the truth, preacher girls. It is why this community exists. We are so excited about what God is doing, with the direction we're about to go in. We're gonna blow your mind. He's gonna blow your mind with some of the things that are about to come down the pipe for you. I just wanna remind you, you don't need a pulpit. You just need a message, because once God calls you, no one can uncall you.